Without further ado, I have received a very specific request from Lee, a charming American from Colorado, coming up right now.
Pronto, maestro?
Il maestro, aiutami por favore. I don't know how to roll my R's, so could you please teach me how to roll my R's? Grazie e arrivederci.
Welcome to Pronto Maestro, the series with which I, the on-the-screen maestro, will answer all your questions regarding Italian language, culture, curiosity, slang, and so on. That was only part 104 from Lee's message. Stay tuned. Lee, you are not alone. Rolling R's is one of the most common pronunciation issues that foreign students of Italian have. Let me rephrase that. Most native English speakers have. If you guys have tried a few old school methods and it didn't work out, then stay. It's something you already do in your language. And no, we are not going to waste our time on technical jargon. Rolling R's is a pain in the neck for native English speakers who, some people say, may have never rolled an R before starting learning Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, and so on. My experience also tells me that Welsh, Scottish, and Americans are pretty good at it. Less so for English people, for example.
Ti ricordo che tuo figlio è nato in Inghilterra.
E allora ce ne dobbiamo andare da questo paese che non ci accoglie. I digress here. How did all of that begin? Lee left this comment under one of my pronunciation course videos, and then I replied to that, we got in touch, he started attending my live streaming events, and finally we had the chat over Zoom.
Don Corleone, give me justice. But you don't ask with respect. You don't offer friendship. You don't even think to call me Godfather.
And then I asked him to read out loud and record some sentences for me. At first they didn't involve the art sound, but then this is what happened.
3 tigri contro 33 tigri.
And then this.
33 Trentini entrarono a Trento tutti e 33 trattorellando.
I disagree with Lee. His R's and pronunciation are pretty damn good. The latter tongue twister would kill Italian native speakers, not to mention foreign students of Italian who have been self-studying Italian like Lee for 6 months. Well, actually, if I'm not your tutor, you haven't even started learning Italian. Pay attention to this now.
Il futuro è dato per una migliore utilizzazione delle risorse umane. Nella migliore utilizzazione delle risorse umane, senza nessun dubbio.
This was Gianni Agnelli, industrialist, principal shareholder of Fiat, owner of Juventus, and so on. Got it? No? Come on! Like Gianni Agnelli, Italians are not immune from the R moscia, a weak R, a lisp. The R moscia is when the R doesn't make a trill, as linguists will call it. What is a trill? Roberto! This is to say that the inability to pronounce the R is not a medical condition, it is not inherited, and it can be fixed. How? That's right. Make sure you have these 3 things with you: butter, pencil, and the Divine Comedy. The problem with rolling our R's is our inability to see what's going on in our mouths. We need to feel what we can't see. Last but not least, if you are a native English speaker, you are going to most likely reproduce a sound you may have never made in your life, or better, you think you have never made in your life. So we need to find similarities between English and Italian sounds that will help us to rock and roll our R's. That was bad. Butter scrape. Stick a bit of butter to the roof of your mouth. Make sure your tongue reaches the far back of your mouth and then by scraping forward, try to remove it. Slowly. Friggin' slowly. Forget the pleasure of eating it. Pay attention to the movement of your tongue. The rolling R is also known as the voice alveolar trill because your tongue, by moving forward, will pass over the ridge behind your teeth before touching the upper teeth. After a few more attempts, repeat it a few more times without using the butter. Doing it slowly is the secret. Number 2, saying the alphabet out loud. Slowly, again. Pay attention to those sounds where the tongue gets close to the alveolar ridge. T and E are actually a good example. For instance, at the beginning of the word, in words like time, try, drink, dwell, but also at the end of the word in most past participles, but not only that, better, bright, loved, amazed. Number 3, closed tongue, trill. Stay with me, we are approaching the pronunciation of the R sound. To start with, try to make a shush sound, as if you wanted to shush someone. Once you feel confident, add the extra movement. Use your tongue to open and close the air gap with the roof of your mouth. Number 4, the alveolar trill, the R sound. This is the last step. With your mouth naturally open, try sounds like this. Ah, and then you add an R. R, ear, or, ur. If you have followed all those steps, it's time to pronounce Italian words such as Marte, marito, birra, torta, burro. You may have noticed that words like better and marito, merit and merito share a similar R sound. Even the double R, like in burro or carro, may remind you of the pronunciation of carriage. And what about words like arrive, interrupt, terror, horror, round and round, the ragged rocks, the ragged rascal, run. Wow. How long does it take? Well, depends from students to students, but you won't learn it overnight. This has to be incorporated into a weekly routine. Better if it's a daily routine. 10 minutes a day can make some serious change in a week or so if done correctly. But maestro, you made me buy a pens. That's right, Johnny Bello. It's an old technique that I used when I studied acting and performed on the stage. Put it in your mouth as if you were a dog biting a bone. Make sure the pencil touches your tongue every single time. Repeat the exercises I suggested earlier. Since you cannot really see what happens in your mouth, you need to feel it when your tongue touches the pencil. What about La Divina Commedia then? Reading all the letters will not take your pronunciation very far, but reading the comedy with a pencil in your mouth will train your tongue and your lips. You will acquire rhythm, because the comedy was written in hendecasyllables. It's not a novel with pauses, digressions, convoluted language. Reading the comedy this way will force your tongue to move forward and roll when necessary. No, you won't understand the comedy, Johnny Bello. One thing at a time. Lì, pensaci tu.
My love. You're an American and I am Filipino, pero marunong akong sabihin yung salitang arrivederci.
Dal maestro è tutto. Mi raccomando.